Internet of Things, nanotechnology, digital education and e-commerce development. Modern world stands on threshold of large-scale changes in daily lives of people and economy of entire regions. Even as we speak, experts call these transformations as the fourth industrial revolution, inscribing them in consistent history of previous technological explosions. In a special program, Digital Kazakhstan, we tell about how they affect internal processes in Republic and development of Kazakhstan's science and technology. Today in our program, let's talk about why data is called as oil of the 21st century, how opportunities of big data technology help to predict epidemic outbreaks, and what is a system of recommendation engines based on behavior analysis of telecommunications companies' clients. Data is a new oil of the 21st century. This aphorism appeared in World back in 2006, but this phrase reached the peak of its popularity almost a decade later, just when big data term began to be used in digital community.
Big data – это массивы данных, при том, что это сбор массивов данных, которые собраны неважно.
Big data is data arrays that are collected from any source, and in principle, it can be any information. That is, it can be both structured data and video. It can be a picture, maybe someone's text and everything else. In aggregate, it is something that cannot be stored in one personal computer. People and clients leave their digital imprint on internet. All this is considered as big data.
Все это в совокупе считается big data.
Today, the largest data generator is an ordinary user of World Wide Web, because only social platforms, such as Facebook, process more than 500 million terabytes of data daily. Moreover, every second click accounting system on Internet analyzes millions of actions. If we examine Google's search system, then within a second, users from all over the world entered 40,000 requests. This is approximately 3.5 billion requests per day. Or if we take up YouTube video hosting, within 1 hour, 100 hours of video are flowed on YouTube. If we take up a time interval of 24 hours and try to analyze it manually, it will take approximately 15 years. In addition, today information is generated by devices themselves, most of which are ordinary consumer gadgets. Smartphones know at what time user wakes up, where he lives and works, at what time he visits social networking pages, and what he wants to find in search systems. Fitness bracelets collect information about owner's health, and household appliances such as refrigerator or multi-cooker, with technology of Internet of Things, will tell about users' taste preferences. In 2017, number of devices connected to Internet exceeded total number of people on Earth. Today, there are more than 10 billion devices. Only by 2020, that is, in 2 years, number of devices connected to Internet will exceed 26 billion. This is already 3 times population of Earth. Moreover, if some people see a huge dump of unnecessary information, others can distinguish an invaluable asset capable to increase both productivity and income from individual companies to entire states. In 2011, Massachusetts Technology Institute and Wharton School of Business conducted research. According to results of this research, it was clear that use of decision-making systems based on big data in companies increases labor productivity by 5 to 6%. In addition, McKinsey analysts suggest that using big data technology in retailing increases the revenue by 60%. In Kazakhstan, as well as all over the world, processing of big data has become one of main trends. Scientific organizations are working on programs capable of analyzing huge amounts of information, and now possibilities of technology for analyzing endless streams of digital information are applicable to all sectors of economy without exception. How can this be applied? It is development of cities, that is, planning of polyclinics, kindergartens and schools. These are forecasting and adapting training programs for each individual, taking into account his psychological type and his level of memorability and knowledge of materials. With development of production, it is production optimization. Development of agriculture, for example, intelligent irrigation of fields, control over fields. forecasting of fallouts, correct time for harvesting, etc. Use of big data analytics is also possible in the field of education, for example, to improve performance of pupils and students thanks to timely assessment analysis. We already have Kundelik system. We have learned to collect assessments. What does it give? We have many regions, and it is hard to understand where a good teacher is and what is happening. System will automatically give recommendations to the Ministry of Education. It will inform about region, academic performance, because if there is a class and whole class has underachievement, maybe there is something wrong with teacher. Analysis of information based on big data is also used in medicine. Genetic engineering technologies, as well as data processing from internet search systems and computers installed in medical institutions, allow predicting spread of diseases and epidemics. Medical industry is a very broad sphere. There are a lot of small spheres in it. For example, there is such a thing as a house of illnesses. If a person falls sick in Bostandik district, then infection spreads through schools, it is transmitted through school children and so on. That is, it is possible to identify in which district school children are sicker, where problems are, and where it is better to conduct trainings, to send a person to screening and so on. According to forecasts of IDC Analytical Company, by 2025, global data volume will grow by almost 10 times and will reach 163 zettabytes, most of which will be created not by private users, but by commercial organizations. Moreover, process of generating this information has begun already today by those companies that actively digitize their work, for example, banks. In leading financial institutions, big data technologies have already found their application, and analytics of big data have a positive impact on both activity of organization and clients. Due to combined analysis of geoanalytics, photo and video content, solvency and social status, consumers of financial services can timely receive information about banking products, and these offers are usually personalized. For example, when we analyze clients' behavior, we found out where he goes, what he breathes, how often he travels abroad, what he buys, what his demographic and social behavior is. Proceeding from this, understanding client, we can suggest him various offers, not just banking and financial services. We can give suggestions of our partners. Implementation of big data analysis is also effective in work of telecommunications companies. According to experts today in Kazakhstan, cellular network penetration is estimated at 167%. It is 1.5 SIM cards per inhabitant of country. Mobile phones, even simplest ones, can also serve as a good source of information based on analysis of which base stations are being built. In order to use our money supply more efficiently, we plan where to install base stations correctly. We predict how many subscribers will register on it, and we forecast a load at this station. Accordingly, for example, in Smart Capex project on planning of our network, application of big data technology brings efficiency of cost reduction to 20% along our base. In order to work more effectively with internal products and increase core business, telecommunications companies use the so-called system of recommendation engines. This system analyzes behavior of subscribers, their social status, solvency, and even sphere of employment, and automatically offers consumers more favorable offers for their tariff plan, roaming, internet packages, and much more. We had such a project when, according to all statistical and conventional technologies, our point should be super successful, because it is the center of a city, and it seems to be a passable site. But for some reason, profitability of this store was lower than we planned. We used geoanalytics technology and found out that despite the fact that this is the center of the city, people walk on next street, literally 100 meters. What have we done? We relocated our point, and its efficiency increased by 10 to 15%. Forecasting is necessary for those companies that manufacture and sell equipment. For example, in the world's largest concern for production of computer equipment and components, capabilities of data analytics make it possible to identify those trends that will be in demand on market in 3 to 5 years, which helps to load production plans with maximum efficiency. It is necessary to understand what products we need to use. what products will be in demand by our clients in future. For this purpose, we use system of sales forecasting. This is both machine learning and processing of big data. Regardless of country, for example, I make my forecasting in Kazakhstan. I'm examining digitalization program, convergent solutions, cloud and hybrid solutions that will be in demand. Moreover, in accordance with this, Voice of Kazakhstan is heard. Voice of emerging markets from Germany, America and other countries is heard. And we see a general picture of what we need to produce and what our clients want to see in the future. Processing of big data is not only a useful process, but also a very complex one. In order to be able to analyze terabytes of information, it is not enough just to be a programmer. Specialists who know how to find right data from huge volumes, build forecasts, and understand intricacies of machine learning today are worth their weight in gold. In Kazakhstan, there is an active training of such specialists. For example, several courses of computer training, engineering, big data analytics, and artificial intelligence have been created at Nazarbayev University.
These courses are available, and we will increasingly require our students to take these courses, because this is really how we're gonna, I would say, understand the reality around us and how we will better manage that reality. Whether that reality is a business reality or an engineering reality or a medical reality. There's one more thing that we do that I think is important and sort of brings this from theory to practice, which is the student projects that we are involved in. In many of the schools at Nazarbayev University, including the Graduate School of Business, we require our students to do an end-of-studies project.
In addition, in country, there are specialized express courses which are becoming more and more in demand every day. Their relevance is due to the fact that training program of these courses is regularly updated, and knowledge gained within these disciplines can be immediately applied in practice. Because developers of these programs are usually vendors themselves, in other words, equipment manufacturers.
Такие крупные производители оборудования, как, например, Cisco Systems.
Such large equipment vendors as, for example, Cisco Systems, created their own training system back in 1997. They created a network of academies. Today there are 10,000 of them in 165 countries. That is, vendors care about knowledge of their technologies being distributed as quickly as possible. And this in turn benefits them in terms of increasing equipment sales. Short-term courses that train specialists in field of collecting and processing big data are most in demand among people who already know how to work with big data technology, as well as employees of those companies that are actively switching to digital format of work. First, we train bank managers, managers from large integrators who must understand everything before managing something. This is called big data for managers. In addition, there are big data courses for those specialists who support this data. And there they are already taught to develop. There is so-called software language. It needs to be mastered. And specialists need to be able to manipulate to move to process of supporting and processing big data. If we go deeper, there are Hadoop systems, machine learning, etc. According to IBM, by 2020, more than 700,000 job vacancies will be created in the world in field of collection, storage, and processing of big data. Especially experts in field of data engineering will be in demand, whose task is to build such a system so that all necessary information for a company or state structure would be collected and stored on a single server. Data sciences are equally popular, whose competence includes information analytics and its practical application for forecasting. Monthly salary of such workers varies from $1,000 to $30,000 depending on the amount of collected and analyzed data. If now only IT specialists are talking about big data, until 2020, some companies as Google, Amazon, Yandex argue that every competent employee in company will have to be able to work with data. Numerous use of technologies for working with large volumes of information are also indicated by figures. If in 2013 this market was estimated at $3.5 billion, then today it exceeds $130 billion. And analysts predict that in 2 years it will increase by another 40%.